All right, continuing my read through of Marvel comics. I'm reading them in French, and right now I'm in, I guess, about April May 1964, and I kind of wanted to look at this issue of Thor because it seemed like a high watermark so far in what we've seen with Jack Kirby's art. So let's take a look. Where are we at? 44, I think. Yeah. All right. So actually, before we look at this, let me just show you a few other things that Kirby is doing at this time to kind of give you like prepare you a little, because the amount of how Kirby's art looks, it really depends on a lot of different things. One of them obviously is the inker. That makes a huge difference. So in Fantastic Four, right now, the inking is being done by George Bell, and I can't say I'm a fan of George Bell's inking. It just does not do much justice to Kirby's art. It strips away a lot of the look. It doesn't. I'll be glad to see him leave, and I believe he is leaving in an issue or two from where I'm at. So I will not miss him. And then I think that's the main thing that Kirby is doing right now. I mean, he's doing a lot of the covers for Marvel, obviously, but it seems like Fantastic Four and Thor are his big work assignments right now. So let's go back to Thor. And in contrast to George Bell, the inking is being done by Chic Stone. And I think Chic Stone is doing a pretty great job. He's one of the best inkers that we've seen with Kirby so far. Joe Sinnott had inked Kirby at this point, but he wasn't a regular. So they hadn't quite realized that what an asset he was or whatever, but he will not show up till later on, I think. So let's just take a look through this issue. So Thor is basically coming back from the future, some time travel episode or something. So he's coming back to the present, and he just immediately launches into this storyline where he's really tired, and the gods of Asgard. Oh, we did get a flashback, but this is what I'm talking about. Like, look at this panel. I think Chic Stone really realizes that Kirby's big images in the front need thick line around them. So you get this right here, and it looks just wonderful. This is what Mike Allred like adopted so well in his art, and he kind of like mastered it from an early stage. Whereas with Marvel, they just struggled. Oh, actually, I remembered another title that Kirby's working on is the X-Men. Let's take a look at his art there. I think at this point, he's being inked by Paul Reinman, I believe. Let's see. I think we're about here. Oh, this Chic Stone as well. But I think earlier issues, it was Paul Reinman. Let me see. What's this? I mean, this looks wonderful to me too, but it wasn't always the case. Yeah, this is Chic Stone as well. So Chic Stone is doing a lot of the work on Kirby's art. I wish he'd been working on Fantastic Four, but whatever reason they chose to go with George Bell, and George Bell is, as I said, pretty. It's not horrible if it had been another artist, but in terms of bringing out what makes Kirby's art work, I think it fails. So, yeah. Okay, back to Thor. All right, so Thor, back from the future, he's tired, and coloring in this French edition, which is what I'm reading through, coloring is wonderful. Look at also Odin. I'm pretty sure this costume of Odin's was not around before, but Kirby is just starting to really experiment with costume design, and just whatever reason, his art just really starts to explode in 1964 for me. Like before that, 63 has a lot of nice things, and I think a lot of it is the inking. This is another great panel. Just look at the thick line around the edges and bringing everything out wonderfully. Like you can tell, like these larger shots are really what allow it to shine, because there's this really wonderful contrast between the edge on the outside, kind of a Lin Eclair style, and thinner lines on the inside. So there's this storyline in Thor right now that basically Thor, in his Donald Blake doctor appearance, he wants to fall in love and marry this human, and his dad Odin is like pissed. He's like, "Why would you want to marry a human?" So Thor wants her to be immortal and all this stuff. But there's basically just a lot of strife. But wonderful character designs in all these. Kirby's cities are he likes to really draw these cities that are far away in the background, and it makes them look like they're almost like 2 miles away or something. But there's just not much nearby, and it looks cool though because it adds like this almost feeling like you're in some Roman gladiator arena, something like that. It's pretty great. He's really good at alternating between close-ups and long shots. But I mentioned this before, how in the first issue of X-Men, there's virtually no backgrounds, and I think that's when you're going fast, you don't want to draw a bunch of backgrounds, and you get away from it as much as possible, and just having different colors, green, purple, or whatever the original colors were. Zooming in on the eyes, very Kirby-esque thing to do, and tilting the angle this is something that you like for whatever reason other artists weren't doing, and Kirby does it very calculatedly. He doesn't just do it every panel, but I think as he gets into the 70s, it does it more and more. But here he just does it very, very cautiously, like probably one or two panels at most on each page. There's kind of an alternative, like an angle to it. They also have this thing in these early episodes that Thor can't drop his hammer for more than 60 seconds, which is just such a stupid, arbitrary thing, but whatever. Yeah, so I just wanted to show this art in this issue. These stories aren't very long, but then Kirby was also doing these Tales of Asgard series where initially it began with Thor as a boy, but he quickly becomes a man, and he's just not that. But this is, I mean, these like these orcs or elves or dwarves or whatever they are, these are just so Kirby. Uh, yeah, look at this flame and everything looks so. This could be like almost 1970s Kirby, something you see in the New Gods. But he also is using these 4-panel pages for whatever reason, which I don't know. It's okay. There tends to be a lot of condensed storytelling in these Tales of Asgard because they're only like 4 or 5 pages, and so Kirby has to work with this almost like a a cell phone dimensions. These would be great cell phone backdrops. This giant boar, but you could see in how he's doing the hands. This is very like the direction Kirby is going towards, this really thick machinery coupled with organic forms, and this dimension is pretty great. This is very. I mean, just looking at this panel with Thor standing here, normally there's not much movement to just standing still, but because of the way he angles things and the horizons curving in the background, that kind of displaces the energy and makes it feel a little wobbly after this after this shattering of 2 hammers. It's like Thor's solid, but he's not solid. So wonderful stuff. Thor looks almost like feminine in this one, this image right here, and leads to the origin of humanity. So anyways, that's this issue wrapped. Chic Stone still on the inking. Next issue, it looks like. I'm not going to keep going, but I haven't read that one yet, so we'll keep going and see where it goes. Because right now, I think I've looked at, this is probably, I would say the best Kirby art that I've seen at this point in Marvel Comics. Like this is really the high water mark for him. And I just read an issue of Spider-Man today. I haven't looked at Ditko's art. I should though, because I think Ditko is kind of realizing that he has to kind of incorporate a lot of these things that Kirby's introducing if he wants to keep up. And He is doing his own innovations, but he has his own line work that we'll look at soon because he doesn't go down the same direction as this thick line technique that Kirby does. If you see Kirby's Spider-Man, there's this a thicker line on it, and it looks noticeably different from Ditko's Spider-Man. So I'll look at Spider-Man and Ditko's art soon. So be there.